is significant amounts of research around the science of teaching, learning and assessment that tells us this is the model that works most effectively with students. You'll see that there's a stepping stone approach to it. When you walk out of this room, at the end, I want you to walk out of a toolbox. I want you to walk out knowing more than you did when you came in.
So we have set up, as you can see, 5 stations around the room. Each one is focusing on one of these 5 sets, and you will have 10 minutes to find out as much as you can from each other and from the experts on the table who will be sharing and leading you through the activities.
Yeah, so all they're doing at the moment is identifying sort of some of the barriers they sort of regularly sort of encounter as sort of TAs or LSAs working with their learners, and then sort of coming up with some strategies, some ways around that, particularly looking at sort of the concept of correcting and how they sort of try and sort of work around that to avoid correcting where they can with their learners.
I can't do this, don't you?
Stupid.
Yeah.
I failed last year. My teacher said I would pass. Failure. And sort of low self-image.
And then as teachers we're trying to sort of step back and review and go, right, here's the whole process so we can see from start to finish what we've done and hopefully give them something they can replicate. We're going to model further examples, so we won't just do one model for a mathematical concept, we'll go through again and again and go, well, here's if you're given pieces of information A and B or A and C, how would you work backwards?
On this table we've been talking about modelling. So modelling is a slightly more advanced strategy than correcting for assisting learners. We give them an answer, a framework, a template that they can follow.
This particular table are working on what's called cluing, and cluing is where a learning support assistant would give clues, information, perhaps even a question to help learners to take an active part in their learning to be able to move forward and progress. The activity that they're currently working on is called What's in the Box, and there are 3 clues on the box which they have to look at and work out if they can problem solve the contents of the box. Prompting stage. So whereabouts are we on our line? So the learners are becoming, we hope, fairly independent. In sort of roughly 2 groups, have a look at the questions on the slips and divide them. Where do the questions most usefully sit? Just compare your answers. Are there anything that's different?
That I would definitely say is during, because before the task, you're not going to know what the task is.
Well, we couldn't make up minds. We put it in the middle.
This stage is about helping move students from being asked questions by their learning support to being able to ask themselves those questions, such as, what should I do first? How can I improve my work? Have I done something similar before?
Here's my 21st century text, colour match it. I'm going to write it upside down just for ease. And we teach them to do this again and again and again. Absolutely. Self-scaffolding, learners accessing, being able to access themselves when there's a whole exam for 2 hours in front of them. This is what we're working towards. Scaffolding takes the fear out of what do I write, how do I write it. And then they can choose to then the other side, so that's just one answer for 1 mark. They can then choose to use the other side, which scaffolds, so it's a visual scaffold for a grade 4 answer for a 10-mark question. So we've been looking at scaffolding on this table, linked to GCSE English, and how we build up the scaffolds for the learners in their various reading and writing tasks, and then over the course of the year we'll encourage the learners to take those scaffolds away to work independently, but then also how to put the scaffolds back in place themselves in the actual exams.
So this morning's training for me, it's recapping because it's been a long break since probably June that we've been in the classrooms, but it's also a real good, refreshing couple of hours where we start getting our brains working again regarding how we support those students with higher level needs really in the classrooms.
Today's been good for remotivating myself with the energy the teaching team have give them their talks and tasks and ideas, it's really brought back my enthusiasm for the work I do.
For me as well, it's listening to everybody else's kind of questions and answers, so I can then add them to my own kind of knowledge and skills base. Fresh ideas.
We've got cupcakes. You might be inspired by a cupcake. I definitely agree with that. We've got a horse. Not quite sure how that would fit in here, but you'd definitely be inspired by a horse or see a horse at a special event, and you've taken such an active approach in trying to problem solve. And that's exactly what we want the learners to be doing in the classroom when they're working with you guys. So they are, actively trying to progress in their learning by using clues that you give them. So who wants to take the lid off? Una, come on, for the big reveal.
Oh my goodness.
And there for you. Hopefully there's enough for everybody to share.